what's really good is to communicate with library users in their own language. And so with both the news and the news feature and HTML customizations, you have different language tabs where you can add, if you've got the content, library news or library content in different languages, you can save it in these different languages. So for example, we could have the library content in English as well as Te Reo Māori, and Koha will display it to your users depending on what language they're viewing the Koha OPAC in. The language tabs at the top here, you might be thinking, where do they come from? Is it every language? What they come from is they're the languages that your Koha support vendor has installed on your Koha server. So if you wanted more languages, you'd want to get in contact with your Koha support vendor and request that they install other languages so that you can add content in those other languages. The other point that's important is that Koha doesn't automatically translate. So if I save a news item in English, it's not going to automatically translate it to Te Reo Māori. I, the librarian, would need to go away and get it translated, and then I can save it in Te Reo Māori or whatever language it is. So that's just important context to know about that. This essentially covers what I just mentioned. One other thing that's a nice bonus tip for as far as translating and nice enhancements within Koha is we wrote alongside Education Services Australia Schools Catalogue Information Service. So the SCIS team at Education Services Australia, we wrote a plugin called the AustLang plugin, which enables you to essentially add content. If you have resources in your library in Indigenous Australian languages, you can now add the language code for that. So we can see here with the plugin installed. So I've given the link for the plugin. But when it's installed, when you're cataloguing a book, when you go to the 041A subfield, which is the language code subfield, we've now got Indigenous Australian languages available thanks to this plugin. So that could be really useful for libraries that hold resources in Indigenous library languages, and you can store that information and that context in your catalogue record.